Peace and love, peace and love. Sister Nzinga here. How y'all doing? Well, you're here with Sister Nzinga, flowing and growing, right? Thanks for being here. Thanks for being here. But let me thank my subscribers, those that push the notifications, keep it up. Those continue to drop some comments down there, and those that share and care. So here we are again, discussing things about emancipating ourselves from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our minds. So I just want to talk today about just some things because I don't understand how some people just really don't want to emancipate themselves, or they're just really comfortable with the shit that's going on, and that's part of our problem. That there's so many people that are comfortable, or complacent, or um, some people who don't think. That's kind of why we're in a situation we're in right now, because certain people voted for certain people, and look what we got. And now people are huffing and puffing, and thinking about, regretting their choices, and then of course, people of the melanated people are still being subjected to cruelty, to disrespect, to segregation, depression, oppression, and blah blah blah. So I just want to just mention some things for you to kind of think about. I don't know what age group that you or all my viewers are in, but what about do you remember when they used to hang us by trees? That's where that song "Strange Fruit" came from. They used to hang us by trees. Can you believe that? They used to cut the belly, cut a pregnant woman, and just slice her skin, her belly, and the baby will fall out. These are people of hatred. So this stuff has been going on for a long time. So sometimes some of the people of today, they don't want to be responsible for things that their ancestors did, but the bottom line, they're still benefiting, and so there has to be some accountability. How many people remember that it was against the law for us to be able to read and write? That's how they just wanted us to keep us depressed. Same way they give us a little bullshit education that's just kind of just ain't worth a dime. How many people remember? Oh, the bombing in Philadelphia on the Move people? Remember they just dropped a bomb on the house, just blew up the people, everybody. They knew men, women, children was in that building, and the bomb was so powerful that it just destroyed a whole block. Oh, I think maybe more than one block, a whole 2 blocks or something like that. And some people like say, why come we don't get our own, or that we ain't this, we ain't that. But do you remember that we had Tulsa, Oklahoma? We had the number one's going blank. Uh, but there were several times that we set up our own towns. So we had our own doctors, our own butchers, bakers, candlestick makers. We had our own everything. We had our own banks. We had our own lawyers. We had our own everything. All the businesses were owned by people, melanated people, and people come and just burnt the shit down because they did not want us to progress. I mean, do you remember all this kind of stuff? So I mean, so what does it make you want to? Do you see this as a system that's been in place for years and years and years? 'Cause I'm not sure how old you are, but something that should happen a long, long, long time ago. Probably wait for some of the people was born. But you still see the trend and still continue. There's still oppression and depression and disrespect and inequality and injustice. So do you know that, do you know the story about the that where Central Park is in New York? That was a thriving village. So they just kind of got rid of it and just built a park there. Do you know there were some properties that are along the beach down in the south that melanated people owned, but then some kind of way they swindled us out of it, and put whatever they want to put on there. But I think the good part about those people were given some type of monetary repayment for the showing like the value of what it is existing today. You can Google get some details. I mean, but do you just remember all this? Do you remember when you how did you feel when you found out that Martin Luther King didn't die from the gunshot? That's such the famous gunshot on the balcony. That he didn't die from that. It came out. The truth was that the doctor that was caring for him was a white supremacist, and he smothered our brother with a pillow. That's how he really died, not the gunshot wound. So the man that they paid to tell me he took the um I forgot his name because I don't get that kind of stuff in my head. But the man who they said that he did it, that was just somebody that they just hired, to fill the spot. And probably gave him some money, or either or either probably gave him a lesser jail sentence, or there was some type of swindling going on. So wasn't that amazing to find out that he never really died from that bullet shot? It was because the doctor that was attending him smothered him to death. So you see what we're dealing with. I mean, so do you remember? Well, just recently, but do you remember about this the COVID mess and how much of it was a lie? And speaking of lies, when they tell you Christopher Columbus discovered America and he didn't, there were us people. We were there. We were some of the original people. We were indigenous to this land. All of us did not come to America on slave ships. We were there. And the people they called the Indians, the brown people they called Indians, that was us. That was our people. And then how they swindled us out of our land and made these certain rules and regulations and end up giving, free land to white people. And, they just took our land away. I mean, so how do you feel knowing that these are the things, I mean, do you think like, oh, maybe that was back in the past and I was back in the past? No, what about today? What about today? Like last week or 2 weeks ago, there were some little black boys that was found hung by trees, and they tried to say that it was suicide, but then they come to find out it was these 4 little boys that hung this young man. It should be. I mean, so the shit didn't stop. Look at Rodney King. Look at the what the other brother that they put the knee to his neck and choked him to death. And these people get away with shit. What do you see this stuff? And then you know that the food is poison. Most of the food ain't about nothing. There's no nutritional value in the foods. And do you know that doctors really do not have a course in nutrition in the whole 8 years that a doctor has to go to schooling to be a doctor? But a course on nutrition is not included, or it's not like highlighted. Because I don't want to say the untruth, but that it's not in. He doesn't have a course because they may have a small course, but that's not like the main thing. No, you got to learn how to do the bullshit doctor stuff. Take and say, well, if this wrong with you, just give him this pill, give him that pill. I mean, how do you feel? How do you really feel knowing these things? And how do you just go every day and know that think that everything's hunky dory because you got a job, you got a roof over your head and everything? But what about the future of our children? What about those people who are really caught up on all this name brand shit and then they kind of find out that shit they paying some $200 and $300, $400, $500 for ain't cost them but then $10 to make in China, but because because you think their name is a household word or whatever, something that people are willing to pay $300 for a bag or for a pair of eyeglasses just because somebody's name is on them. This frame here, as a matter of fact, was really a popular frame. What's the other ones that I have? But I bought these. This ain't nobody's name on these things, but this is a very good replica, and I paid under $10 for these glasses. Because I'm not paying no name brand. I'm not paying for it. Because that's advertisement. When you walk around here with Nike, well, I don't even want to say some of the names, but the ones start with an N, the ones start with a G, and all these other names and stuff of these people. Because I don't want to give them no power at all. I don't want to say their names. But when we think when we wear that stuff that we had to pay this extra amount of it just because it has their name on it. No. I mean, now we're finding out that the perms they say was good for us to be putting these perms in our hair and all that kind of stuff, and that stuff is really poisonous, is cancerous. And even the hair that these Chinese people are sending through here, that the chemical and the plastic, all that kind of stuff, that's close to your brain, and even that's cancerous. So they just make up shit, and then they just let you go there and make money off of it like that, and then they find out way down the line somewhere that oh, this is really causing cancer. This really is this. This is really for that. I mean, how do you trust the people like that? Over the years, this system is broke. is corrupt, is evil, and there's no good in these people because they don't see that. I mean, so how do you feel? I mean, these few things that I'm naming are just a few of the tragic things that have happened to us. You know, like I would say in my lifetime. I remember being a child and they had the National Guard coming up and down the streets. I remember them great big tanks coming up and down the streets. How do you feel when you have somebody supposed to be the president and he first of all he gets on TV and says that that America is good, we made everything, and it's not true. He ain't do shit. Black people made all these things. I've talked about it in one of my previous videos. Pretty much everything that you use to function with, we made it. We made it. We invented it, and they took them. The honor of it. They took the reward for it, for creating certain things. But they know we the one that made everything that functions. Oh, and then this fool gonna get on TV and this is a president of the United States, somebody that's supposed to be respected or whatever, and make a video of him pouring shit on all the people who's out there protesting. The No Kings thing. I don't know why I would waste my time because he ain't no damn king in my mind anyway. So, uh, I mean, this is not like back in the day. Okay, we all should do this, you all should do that. There's the people that of today don't have any shouldn't take the responsibility on what happened like back in the past. But don't you still see that this stuff is still happening? How they're trafficking children. How they're kidnapping women. Our people are come up missing, and how they lie about stuff. This thing about the brother Malcolm Jamal Warner, that just really didn't sit well with me. It still hasn't set well with me because it just came and went so fast. Why didn't his wife? What come was no big thing about his wife or his mother putting up some big argument about what happened to their son? Somebody got paid off, or somebody was hushed up to be quiet or something. Look at the thing that Diddy did. I'm not saying that what he did was correct. No, at all. But you have to understand the situation that he was put into. They like created a monster. Yeah, he made decisions to do it, but it was like because the same way to do it. It was he trying to hang with them, trying to be have that power, have to do stuff like that, and even stuff that they did to Bill Cosby. That stuff is still going on with the Playboy mess. That man was allowed to be able to have these little Playboy clubs. All these little people used to come and do everything, and all the woman was there. What the woman was there for. And now this thing with this whoever this Epstein stuff is, I don't even get close up and see what the details of that stuff is. But it's some low down dirty stuff that they do, and that stuff's been going on for a long time. And all the BS in Hollywood. And how they just the rappers can't even they can't get ahead if they got some positive lyrics. They ain't gonna play your music. They're not gonna play your music if you're doing something to uplift the people. No, you're supposed to look like a fool. The woman's supposed to look like hoochies. This is stuff that's still going on right now, y'all. But this is what our society is hyping up. This is what they want, the cool stuff and this that. So I just want to give you a few things. I try not to get on here and just, but you have to think because y'all it ain't illegal yet. Stop falling for the okie doke. Stop going around and following their narrative. You have to create your own narrative. You have to start thinking for yourself, and you need to start preparing for whatever it is that we don't even know is coming. The old ways are the best ways. Those are the things that got us over. You don't have to buy new something to get that. Save jars. If you save jars to reuse stuff. Bags, jars. I could just go on and on. Just the simple life is the best life, y'all. Because all the other hype is just fluff. It's just fluff and it's fake. So just truly be you. Survive. We are resilient. We are. We're powerful. We got a lot of power, but we don't know. We don't know about our power. Well, I'm not going to say that. Some of us, because I always try to get on there and think about that. And I'm going to close with this idea too. So just like I just said, and I hear me too. I do it myself sometimes too. When I was like saying that we ain't this, we ain't that. Try to have a conversation with someone when people get into that kind of thing. Just say, well, yeah, but like I just corrected it because some of us are not falling for overday. There's some of us that's on it, and know what happened, know what's happening. But there's a lot of us that don't. So whenever somebody's having a conversation, flip the script. They say, well, we just won't do that, and we can't. No, they say, yeah, but there are a lot of us that are doing this. A lot of us that are making good food choices. There are a lot of us who are thinking for ourselves. There are a lot of us who are mindful of eating healthy. There are a lot of us who are educating their own children instead of sending them to these schools. There are a lot of us that are doing positive things, but it's not the things that we talk about. And then we are guilty ourselves for perpetuating the thing of saying, that we ain't this, we ain't that. Try your best not to do that. And then as a let me just ask you guys a question. Thank you those that will listen to the end. Can you put in a comment how you can turn around how you can turn around the statements that we make about ourselves? Because it's really not true right now. There may be some, but the majority of us are really waking up, and we're thinking for ourselves because they know it ain't illegal yet, and we're making moves and we're doing changes. But do know that we got to put some action to our things. God ain't going to just come down here and just say wing wing wing, just whatever to everybody, give everybody what they need. You have to just put some action towards what is it your desire, and your steps will be ordered. I love you. God loves you too. Peace and love, y'all. Till the next time.